Why does Isiah Thomas keep lying about Michael Jordan being responsible for him not making the USA basketball team in 92? I haven't seen this interview before, but a year ago, Isiah Thomas was on the Draymond Green show. And on the Draymond Green show, I think he was asked about the USA basketball and, what he was thinking and all that other stuff. So again, he accuses Jordan of lying. He again brings up his story that it's Michael Jordan, that he had so much power that, he just made sure that Isiah Thomas didn't make the actual team. But this has been debunked by a player, a superstar that's friends with both of these dudes, Isiah Thomas and Michael Jordan. And that guy is Magic Johnson. It has been debunked in his book, and I'm going to read you a quote from that book. But first, I want you to listen to what Isiah had to say, and then I can directly respond to it with that quote from the Magic Johnson book, word for word, what he said and why Isiah Thomas didn't make that team. So Isiah Thomas, you better finish with that lying crap, because it looks like nobody is really backing up your story. Pretty much that.
I think we all would agree you should have been on the Dream Team. Did you not think that possibly came from MJ? Like that MJ will have that type of power so that you don't make that team? Did you feel like that then or at any point?
When I didn't make the team, my first reaction was, why didn't I make it? Mm-hmm. Right? And that was the first time I had never made a team.
Yes.
When you try for a team, remember they used to write your name up on the wall, you made it, right? My name was always on the wall. I always made the team, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I didn't make a team. And so, of course, I was hurt. But at the same time, it never dawned on me that I didn't make the team because Michael Jordan didn't like me. That mm-hmm. thought never crossed my mind. I went to the selection committee, and John Stockton is a personal friend of mine and has been a personal friend of mine for a long time. Jeff Hornacek, his dad coached me in high school, right? So, wow. So when you look at my relationships, with Hornacek, Stockton, we've known each other for years. So when I never thought like, okay, I wasn't going to make the team, but when I looked at who they picked, it's like, okay, well, they picked this guy, they picked John, they picked this, and then I started thinking, okay, well, and you always want to make the team. Okay, I'm like, okay, but Larry hurt, Magic ain't even in the league no more, right? Stockton injured. Okay, I got a chance. It never crossed my mind that I wasn't on a team because Michael Jordan didn't want me on a team. And by the way, at that time, you're not thinking like somebody would have that much power, because that was their first championship. Now, I won 2, should have won 3. Magic and Bird, I think, had 5. Magic had 5, Bird had 3. I had 2. We had won the most championships in that era. Mm-hmm. So I didn't.
Absolutely.
I wasn't thinking like, it just wasn't crossing my mind. Now some people will say, "Oh, Isiah, you should have known that," but that ain't how I operate. That ain't how I think. I wasn't like going to, oh, this guy didn't want me on the team, that's why I'm not on the team. And then it started coming out weeks later, well, Jordan don't like Isiah, he didn't want him on the team. And then Michael Jordan did an interview, or he made a quote, and he said, hey, I had nothing to do with Isiah not being on the team. So why wouldn't I take him at his word? That's what he said. Last Dance said, oh, this dude been lying for a long time.
So I'm going to allude to the Last Dance part that he was speaking about, where Michael Jordan told a story in The Last Dance that he hated Isiah Thomas. And that's pretty much what was said. He didn't say he had anything to do with him not being on the team. That wasn't in there. Now, let me go to the actual book, and I checked if that book was ghost written by somebody else that maybe made up a quote from Magic Johnson or whatever. But the book quoted that I'm going to quote in a second is called, I'm giving you the title, When the Game Was Ours. It was co-written by Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, with Jackie McMullen, a veteran NBA journalist. So Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were working with him directly. It's not a ghost-written autobiography, but a collaborative book in which both Magic and Bird tell their stories, with McMullen shaping and documenting their words. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go into the direct quote from that book so you can hear it. And if you want, I'll, find the book. It's on Amazon. You can buy the damn book. You got the title. Quote goes as I read it now, and I'm starting. Isiah killed his own chances when it came to the Olympics. Nobody on that team wanted to play with him. I'm sad for Isiah. He has alienated so many people in his life, and he still doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why he wasn't chosen for that Olympic team, and that's really too bad. You should be aware when you have ticked off more than half of the NBA. If you went strictly on terms of ability, then Isiah should have been chosen for the Dream Team. But Michael didn't want to play with him. Scotty wanted no part of him. Bird wasn't pushing for him. Karl Malone didn't want him. Who was saying we need this guy? Nobody. But Michael Jordan got singled out. Pretty much as far as it goes. None of the players wanted Isiah Thomas on this team. Take note that Isiah Thomas only mentioned Jeff Hornacek, who wasn't involved in it, but he said, he coached him in the past. And then he mentioned John Stockton. And John Stockton had nothing to do with it. John Stockton, he's good friends with Isiah Thomas, so that's fine. Take note that he didn't mention anybody else. He didn't mention Malone. He didn't mention Bird not wanting him or not having a good relationship with him. He didn't mention anybody else. We just went after Mike and then mentioned John Stockton, who he's friends with. But Magic Johnson, direct quote from the book, says that multiple players, multiple superstars on that team did not want Isiah on the team. But Michael Jordan, because he was the biggest star and destroyed Isiah in the playoffs and took the freaking championship from him and the walk-off and everything else, because it was the biggest story, he got singled out. That's how this whole lie came to be. So Isiah Thomas keeps pushing this lie, keeps spreading it. And listen, if he feels better believing it, fine. Keep pushing it, keep talking about it, whatever. But I bet you that Magic Johnson and that rest of the guys, not even talking about it anymore, just basically leaving the guy alone because he's just living in his own world right now. So let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And then I'll see you in the next one. Peace.